This man is the biggest drug dealer in all of professional sports. I'm going to tell you who he is and why nobody's talking about him right after the bumper. What's good people? Jeff Lighty Jr. here with the Black Balls channel on Victory Formation. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell because we upload every single day. Now, there is a man out there. His name is Eric K. He is the biggest drug dealer in all of sports, and his drug dealing actually led, allegedly, to the death of a player in the Major League Baseball system. We're going to talk about him today because it seems that his story is going super under the radar, and I'm just trying to figure out why. So, like I said, his name is Eric K. He was formerly employed by the Los Angeles Angels, the Anaheim Angels, whatever you want to call them. But in 2019, a player on the Angels by the name of Tyler Skaggs actually overdosed after taking some of the drugs he was allegedly given to or sold to by the staffer on the team, Eric K. And he wasn't the only player in the league that was provided drugs from Mr. Eric K. Now, like I said, this is a federal investigation. This is a federal charge. These are federal charges, and he's being prosecuted. Here's the story via Yahoo Sports. It says federal prosecutors intend to prove that former Los Angeles Angels staffer Eric K. ran a drug distribution operation that supplied illegal narcotics to several MLB players, including the fentanyl that allegedly led to the death of Tyler Skaggs in 2019. According to court documents filed on Friday and obtained by the Los Angeles Times and the League of Justice Amy Dash, approximately 5 MLB players are prepared to testify that they obtained oxycodone from K. Prosecutors allege that K coordinated the supply of narcotics from 9 different suppliers and sometimes used Skaggs as a middleman for distribution. Quote, the evidence will also demonstrate that K often coordinated the distribution through text messages or through conversations involving the victim. The filing reads, quote, evidence will also demonstrate that K was motivated to obtain these pills because K could himself use some of the pills that he obtained from the players. K faces drug charges related to Skaggs' death. Now, the filing did not name the MLB players whose testimonies may be used or what teams they play for. The federal government indicted K in October on charges of conspiracy and possession with intention to distribute a controlled substance and distribution of controlled substances resulting in death and seriously bodily injury. K pleaded not guilty and is scheduled to face trial on October 4th. Wow. Wow. It is mind blowing that all of this is kind of just being pushed to the side, right? Like I watch Fox Sports, I watch ESPN, I watch Turner Sports, I'm watching everybody. And the only people that seem to really pay a whole bunch of attention to this story are the guys over there at Yahoo, right? Be sure to hit the thumbs up button as you come in. Thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. Because, I mean, when these type of things happen in the black community, and for those who are watching, Eric K isn't black, but when these things tend to happen in the black community, they tend to get a lot of coverage. They tend to make sure that you hang this man on put him out there on the cross. He gets crucified. How is Eric K not a trending topic? How is it that this man can run a narcotics ring in professional sports and this not leading every show? He literally ran a drug ring. He was Big Meech. He was Freeway Ricky Ross. He was Pablo Escobar, whoever. And he did it with professional athletes, inside locker rooms, inside clubhouses. He worked for a team. And everybody seems to just think like this is normal. Not only did he work for a team, not only did he sell fentanyl, allegedly, oxycodone, allegedly, and who knows what other drugs, allegedly, it led to the death of a player. There's evidence, allegedly, there's evidence that they're going to use to prove that this man is responsible for the murder of an MLB player. They went. Do you know how they found Tyler Skaggs? Do you know how he was discovered? He was discovered after an overdose. Let's read it, because Yahoo actually puts it in the article. Let's read what happened to Tyler Skaggs. It says Skaggs was found dead in a Texas hotel room in July of 2019 at 27 years old, prior to a road game against the Rangers. Skaggs was found dead in a Texas hotel room prior to a road game against the Rangers. A toxicology report determined that a combination of alcohol, fentanyl, and oxycodone intoxication with terminal aspirations of the gastric contents was the cause of death. According to the Tarrant County Medical Examiner, Skaggs choked on his own vomit after ingesting the mix of illicit drugs and alcohol. A counterfeit oxycodone pill containing fentanyl was found in his room. Are we serious? Think about this. Let's reread this. Let's reread this one more time. According to the Tarrant County Medical Examiner, Skaggs choked on his own vomit after ingesting the mix of illicit drugs and alcohol. A counterfeit oxycodone pill containing fentanyl was found in his room. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid that is cheaper and significantly more powerful than oxycodone. It is often mixed with oxycodone for illegal distribution. It is commonly linked to overdose deaths. Skaggs' family has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the Angels that names Kay and fellow former Angel staffer Tim Mead. Both men worked in the team's communications department. Mead was Kay's manager. His attorney has previously denied to ESPN that any acknowledgement of the alleged drug distribution operations. Prosecutors allege that Kay started distributing drugs to Angels players in 2017. He was able to do this for years, guys. He was able to deal drugs within the Angels locker room for over 2 years. Who knows how long he would have been able to do this, unfortunately, if Skaggs didn't lose his life. Now, why am I talking about this? Why is this relevant? Why does this matter? Honestly, it comes down to you see the lack of media coverage that is given to this. Now, when Skaggs died, it was a big deal. When Tyler Skaggs died, it happened 2 years ago, and obviously we've just had a whirlwind of a 2020 and even a 2021. But when he died, that was a big deal. But it was just like, oh, he died of overdosing on drugs. We've seen this before. But little did we know he was actually being fed the drugs from a guy that worked for the Angels within the organization. So it was like, whoa, that's a development. He was being fed drugs by somebody who worked for the team. Like, dang, allegedly. And then now it's coming out that not only did, Kay distribute drugs to players on the Angels, allegedly, he also did it to teams around the MLB. He's literally the biggest drug dealer in sports. At least the one allegedly. He's the biggest alleged drug dealer in all of sports, in all of pro sports. And he worked for a team. And now there's, at least allegedly, there's 5 players that are going to testify that they bought drugs from this guy that worked for the organization. That's crazy. Is that not? Leave your thoughts in the chat. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I see B1 Forever. Real talk, because it doesn't fit their narrative. Dilly07. Shout out to Dilly07. Says it doesn't fit their narrative. You're right. It doesn't. Because, unless you're a gangster, only black people sell drugs. You got to be Nicky Barnes or Frank Lucas, or pick your favorite Big Meech, or pick your favorite dope dealer. The guy's off power. Ghost off power. But no, this happens even in pro sports with people that work for the organizations. I mean, what? Thanks for bringing this to light. Lame stream won't be highlighted. Exactly. They were on Michael Jackson's doctor's head because who did he look like? He looked like you, Chris MC. He looked like me, Mr. Eric K. Hell, I couldn't even find a picture of this man. It took me forever just to find a picture of Eric K. This is what Eric K for the Angels looks like. Zoom in, make sure it's all zoomed in. Share my screen because I'm going to show you a picture. Because, I mean, if you don't see it here, you might not see it nowhere else. This is Eric K. He worked for prosecutors, ex-Angels employee charged in Tyler Skaggs' death, supplied drugs to 5 other. And see, these are just the ones that are going to testify, allegedly. Now, we know if there's 5, if there's 5, there's more than 5 guys that he sold dope to. Like, let's just be honest. There's more than 5 guys that he sold dope to. Dilly07 says this is going on in every sport. I wouldn't be surprised. I will say in the NBA, Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson talk about this all the time. A lot of the guys in the NBA smoke a whole lot of weed. Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson did themselves. Smoke a ton of weed. And they got to get it from somebody. Now, weed is legal in a lot of places now, right? But Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson did, 10, 15 years apiece in the NBA, and they started in the 90s, right? Early 2000s. Well, weed wasn't readily accessible like it is now back then. So they were getting it from somebody. You know what I'm saying? And some guys take a little harder stuff. We heard what Jordan said in his documentary. He said when he played for the Bulls, when he first came to the Bulls, it was the rolling cocaine circus. Is that what he called it in The Last Dance? Somebody leave him in the chat. Didn't he call it the rolling cocaine circus? Antoine says, this is America. They make us look like we're the only ones doing dirt or illegal activities, but they've been the number one criminals since this land was stolen. Absolutely, Antoine. And this is why I'm here to tell you that if you ever see, I listened to, leave in the chat if you heard this yesterday. Nuri Muhammad spoke on this platform yesterday. And he spoke about how a lot of our leaders, especially during the civil rights movement, wanted to integrate into the system, right? Integrate, get in there, right? Wanted to go to the same schools as white people, drink at the same water fountains, eat at the same restaurants and stuff like that. But what he said is you can't integrate into a broken system. You have to replace said system. So when you look at media and you look at the things that they promote and how they tell you that you're criminals and how they tell you that you don't belong and how they tell you that all your people do X, Y, and Z, all the dope dealers come from your community, all the bad guys come from your community, all you're doing is killing yourselves. Obviously, you start to believe that. But the real criminals, a lot of the real criminals look like Eric K. A lot of the dope dealers look like Eric K. A lot of the people really doing the dirt look like Eric K. They look like Eric K. They don't really look like me and you. Because last I checked, I don't have a plane to go over to Colombia. I don't have a pharmaceutical degree or work at a pharmaceutical company to get a hold of certain opioids. Eric K was able to get these drugs from somebody. And that's what they're going to try to pry out of him. They're going to try to get him to snitch and see who in the world who he's getting his dope from. Who was he getting these fentanyl laced oxycodone pills? Who was he getting these fake oxycodone pills that were actually fentanyl pills from? Where were you getting this from? Who was concocting this for you? I mean, this is crazy. This, to me, is one of the biggest scandals in sports. Propaganda is amazing. Absolutely. Propaganda is amazing. See, one of the reasons why I believe they're probably trying to push this to the back burner, besides the fact, we could do the race car thing all the time. But one of the other reasons why I believe they're trying to put this back is because it was pills. It was opioids, pills, and not like cocaine or like crack or heroin or meth, right? Because in a lot of, especially in professional sports, let's just be honest, let's put it all out there. In professional sports, they want opioids a lot of times to seem normal because that's what they give these athletes. See, especially in the NFL. See, these athletes in the NFL, they literally are in car crashes every single play. It's a collision sport. So the entire time that they're playing, it's all collisions. You're just just smacking each other, smashing each other. Now, obviously, they've made rules to try to limit the collisions or the impact of the collisions. But at the end of the day, it's a collision sport. Just today, a guy in preseason, a first-round pick, Travis Etienne of the Jaguars, has a Liz Frank broken foot injury. He's going to be out for the season pretty much. It's all that happens. Even when you're not trying to hurt nobody, dudes get hurt. People are going to always get hurt. And so in the NFL, because you're always in pain, they give you a lot of what? Pain medication. A lot of pain medication is what? Opioids. Let me know if you're following me. Let me know if you're following along. All right. So this guy for the Los Angeles Angels sold opioids, fake oxycodone, it was fentanyl laced, to players in Major League Baseball. Just like the NFL. Now, Major League Baseball isn't as much of a contact sport as the NFL. The guys running the walls, pitchers, because this guy, Tyler Skaggs, was a pitcher. Pitchers' arms get messed up. Elbows get messed up. They face a lot of pain. When you throw a ball, you throw an object. Just imagine throwing an object. Well, not a water bottle, but an object. Throwing an object 100 miles an hour several times. Between 80 and 100 miles an hour for 90, 100, 110, 120, 130 pitches. That's a lot of times to throw an object. So what gets messed up? Your shoulder, your elbows, your fingers, they deal with some pain. And so what way can you deal with pain? Opioids. Think about, so this is an opioid case. It's not a weed case. It's not a meth case. It's not a heroin case. The NFL's players take a ton of opioids to relieve pain. Who pays the NFL's bills? Think about this. Who pays the NFL's bills? Why is the NFL the most popular sport? Why do they get all the money? Why are all these teams worth so much money? Because they have these great cable network deals, right? ESPN, Amazon's got a deal. Fox has got a deal. CBS has got a deal. Who are the networks with the sports shows? ESPN, Fox, NBC, Amazon. So why would the Amazon, ESPN, or whoever promote this story about opioids when their biggest partner, the people who pays their bills and who they pay the bills for, give opioids to their players like it's candy? They give opioids to their players like it's candy. You'll get suspended for smoking a joint, though. You smoke a joint, you might lose 6 games. But you can get as many pills as possible. And if that's true in the NFL, why would I inform the public about a situation where a guy who worked for an MLB team sold opioids, the same that got a player killed, got one of his guys on his own team killed, allegedly? Yeah, the NFL don't want you to promote that. Nah. Now, the NFL's pills aren't fentanyl laced. They're just as addictive. You can still overdose. You can still get addicted. So to go along with your head trauma, your CTE that you're going to contract, right? You could leave the NFL with $50 million, right? You could leave with $50 million, maybe even $100 million. But you could also leave with CTE and an opioid addiction. Why would ESPN, Fox, CBS, whoever promote this story where this guy sold opioids, allegedly, and led to the death of a player? It's not in their best interest. Everybody gets paid from the NFL. Everybody gets paid. It's not in their best interest to let you know that, this man overdosed on a drug. Whether it was fentanyl laced or not, he was addicted. It sounds like he was addicted to oxycodone, which is an opioid, which is given out to NFL players like candy. How is this not a number one story, number one trending topic on all the platforms? But you're hearing it right here on the Black Boss channel. Like, that's crazy. But you can't bite the hand that feeds you. You can't bite the hand that feeds you. And right now, ESPN feeds the NFL and the NFL feeds ESPN. Fox Sports feeds the NFL and the NFL feeds Fox Sports. So if there's a story about opioid use, knowing that all the players in the NFL take opioids, yeah, we might run it, but we're going to put that to the back. We're going to put that on the back burner because that cannot be front page news, knowing that my star defensive tackle or running back or whoever is about to come in my office and get about 10 of those same pills that just killed a guy. Yeah, no, we can't promote that like crazy. We gotta slow that down. That is crazy. Leave your thoughts in the chat. Leave your thoughts in the chat and in the comments. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsey Jr. with the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation. We talked about the biggest drug dealer in all of sports. He goes by the name of Eric K. And he sold opioids to players in Major League Baseball. But why is this story not being promoted? I think we solved it. Because this isn't something that another major league wants to be promoted. And they're the king of all major leagues. And that's the NFL. They do not want this kind of information being put out there. Even though Calvin Johnson let it be known. Calvin was like, yo, they might stop you, take a pee test or whatever to see if you was high on marijuana. But you could come get an Oxy or whatever. You can get as many of those as you want it. Load up on those as many as possible. He let that be known on All the Smoke podcast. If you haven't, go take a look at that. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsey Jr. with the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, guys. Hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. And for those of you on Facebook, I'm Jeff Lightsey Sports on Facebook. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Peace.